Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Longo.
Here.
Nattari.
Here.
Robel.
Here.
Strumelberg.
Present.
Mayor Kimball.
We do the pledge of allegiance, and would you please remain standing for a moment of silence for our councilman Vincent Cosarelli's father. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Murphy, get up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sunshine notice of course. Approval minutes.
Make a motion?
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg.
Yes.
Mayor Kimball.
Yes, report of the manager.
Received a correspondence from an engineering firm who did the air quality report and the mold and asbestos study at the Silver Lake Firehouse. Pleased to report that they found no indication of any mold or asbestos within inside the building. So certainly we're going to pass that along as we go forward with getting design work done and bid specs done. It'll be a big cost savings to the municipality not to have to deal with any mold or asbestos in the property. In addition, toward the Cortlandt Street Playground, we're almost to the point of announcing the opening of that playground. DPW did an excellent job. They're out there putting a second coat of paint on the retaining wall there. There's some concrete work that needs to be done, which the engineer has assured me will be done in the next 2 weeks. Once the concrete work is replaced, we can certainly have a ribbon cutting ceremony. That's all we do.
Anything from manager?
No, I talked to the young lady.
I'm sorry.
Kevin, I sent you a few memos and you did respond back. Could you tell me what the, what has gone on with the, number one, the hotel on Heckle Street?
I'm waiting to hear back from our code enforcement officer on that. I did forward that along. I'm waiting to hear back on that. I
Okay.
haven't got a response.
And the street cleaning on North 9th?
The street cleaning on North Main,
For some reason, I mean, the street is really, really in bad repair. I mean, there's holes but I don't know how it gets cleaned, so it's a mess there. I sent pictures and everything. And the installation of the benches at the sitting park.
Again, I passed that along to Mr. Harris, and we are going to incorporate that into the concrete work that we're doing.
Okay.
So he's aware of it. He knows the locations, he knows the size. It's a matter of when they pour the concrete.
And the house on Mayor and Garden, something needs to be done there.
That house has routinely had issues for a number of years. It's been brought to our health officer's attention. I forwarded the number to both health and code enforcement. They've had that over in court over the years.
I guess they're gonna go to court again, hopefully, because I mean, there is somebody living in there without a roof.
Yep.
Also, the Washington Avenue lighting and meter parking streetscape. The Department of Transportation, they did not give us the grant. So how much money do we have to fork up now from the township?
Well, the lighting we bonded for a year ago. As far as meters, we're not doing a meter project, but we are doing new street lighting. They'll begin the installation of the street lighting within the second week of May, and you will see new street lights and pedestrian lights in front of Town Hall prior to the Memorial Day weekend.
But it says in this letter from Trenton, the Washington Avenue lighting. It says lighting here.
Well, we had applied for a grant and hoped to get the grant, but we did not receive the grant. We had
Right.
bonded for the project prior to, in anticipation of completing the project, whether we got the grant or not.
Do you know how much it will cost?
The bond was for just over $1 million. I believe it was for $1.1 million for the engineering, installation, and the design of the streetlight.
Okay. Also, I just want to advise about the Essex County Job Fair on Thursday, May 21st, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., Essex County College Gymnasium in Newark. And they have registered now for the Essex County One-Stop Career Center at 50 South Clinton Street. Also, the county executive will be holding an Essex County Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day, an Essex County Computer and Electronics Recycling Day, Saturday, May 16th, and the household is Saturday, May the 2nd. So if you're interested, it's very good, you should attend.
Can we get that on our website if possible?
Yes, I'll have the webmaster put that on our website.
Okay, I think that's it for now.
John?
Kevin, last summer, we did a movie night, which was quite a hit. And I'd like to see that happen again this year. I think we talked about maybe this year coming up with some type of a theme. I remember last year we talked about maybe doing Christmas in July, but we had some snow this year. Nobody wants that. Maybe we could do something like a luau or some type of a theme. I just think it's very important to have these community events through the recreation department. I know we did the Easter egg hunt this year, that the Christmas tree lighting was very well done, especially in the Halloween festivities that we had. So I'd like to see that continue. Friday is May 1st, if we can just, start working on that.
To be honest with you, Councilman, I've had meetings already with the Recreation Department head, and what we want to do is, I had directed him to try to plan 2 movie nights this year. So I haven't received a list yet of potential movies that can be presented. Once I get the list, we can take a look at the list and make our decision. And we were hoping to do one in the month of June before the end of the school year, and then another one in August. So this way, we'll have an event in June, 4th of July fireworks in July, and a celebration for 4th of July, as well as an August movie night for families.
Very good.
I can also talk about introducing some themes into at least one of the movies.
Yes, have some type of a theme.
Sure.
I'll also talk to you further about other ideas I have with the recreation department. I think it's a good department, but we need to expand it more beyond just sports, and I do have ideas that I will bring to this council. PSE&G, I know they've been in town, they've done work on several streets. I know I have a problem with Carmer Avenue. Several months ago, PSE&G, they were there, they chopped up some of the street. I know you and I have had dialogue on this. The street is still chopped up. We spent a lot of money on streets, and then 2 years later, the street looks disastrous. I know when I got here, Carmer Avenue was in very bad shape in 2004. I really fought very hard to get that street resolved, and now it's right back where we started from in 2004. What is going on with PSE&G and Carmer Avenue? And it really should be their responsibility. Once they do a job, they should be back within a week to fix what they have done. But they do what they need to do, and then they just go their merry way.
It is definitely their responsibility. They have been a little lax in getting these patches up to our snuff. I agree wholeheartedly. Councilman Cosarelli at the last meeting had encouraged me to contact the municipal engineer to explore language for a infrared patching ordinance, which if we were to implement, it would require that when the utility companies break open our newly paved roadways, that they have to hire a company to do an infrared patch job, which is a higher standard. When you drive over a repair made with an infrared patching system, it's almost like driving over new pavement. You won't notice it at all. It costs them more money, but certainly, it's a much better way to preserve our roadways. So I'm waiting for Mr. Harris to comply with my request, and then we can introduce that ordinance hopefully sometime in the month of May. I've been assured by Public Services Paver that they will meet with me to address all of our concerns, because we also have some sidewalks that they disturbed over the last 2 years. And they assured me that once I provide them with a detailed list, they will comply and get these things done, so.
I also know on Carmer Avenue, on one side, where they're chopped up and there's all dirt there, the street cleaner doesn't even go on that side, because it's not his problem, but the problem that was created. So even that side of the street is not being cleaned.
Right.
But public service really has to get on this, because it's a mess. I mean, we're spending a lot of money on streets, and as far as I'm concerned, why even pave anymore if this is what they're gonna be doing?
I'll make sure that
Please
I,
keep me informed of that. I know the people there are very disturbed about this.
Okay.
So, Steve?
Just a couple of quick things. Essex Park, I had a couple of conversations with Jeff Basile. Could we check the water bills up there? It seems like some people are okay, and then some people have like extremely high bills. Is it possible that they tie these waters, meters together? I'd like to know if you see any high ones. I mean, sometimes they can pull out an exception.
They should be able to look for anomalies in that block.
Yeah,
And
please.
it's block 2501, I believe, and I can ask the water department to take a check and look for any anomalies in that block.
And we've also had discussions about possible violations with trucks and junk on Chestnut. Just let me know what's going on. Because I think it's after hours. I think that's the biggest problem.
That is one of the
That
concerns.
is, it's after hours. And the last piece was, I believe it's gonna be September again before we hear back from the state on this, their intent to pave at Washington Avenue and their whole plan for that. Just see if we can stay in touch with them and find out what they're really thinking. Thanks. You good?
Good. Kim, I just want to say that yourself and the recreation department did a great job for the recreation baseball and softball team opening. There's quite a few people there, everything went well. Thank you. Thank you. Communications?
A request received from St. Anthony's Church to conduct their annual Forest Mayo procession on Sunday, May 24, 2015.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Clerk will roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
B, communication received from the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation informing the township it has been selected to receive funding from the 2015 Municipal Aid Program for Clinton Street and Tavern Ave in the amount of $246,885. C, request received from Belleville High School for permission to use the municipal stadium football field for their annual food and barbecue on Wednesday, May 27, 2015, and for the grill to be used near the concession
Make a
stand.
motion to approve it.
Second.
Clerk will roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Ordinances for introduction?
An ordinance to comply with the Smoke-Free Air Act, Chapter 383 of the State of New Jersey to prohibit smoking on public property.
Make a motion to
Second.
introduce it.
Clerk will roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Ordinance for second reading, ma'am.
An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation and to establish a cap bank.
Make a motion open it for public participation.
Second.
Clerk will roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Mr. Franklin?
Time for my annual
Yeah, you're annual.
objection
I figured you know the answer by now.
to this, and I urge this council, our taxes are very high in Belleville. I urge you to comply and stay within the state budget caps that they impose us, and not pass these resolutions to exceed it. Hold the line on spending. Our taxpayers are hurting. I don't know if you people read the foreclosures amount. This year, I just go to all the tax sales. There was 15, 20, sometimes 30, 35. Almost 400 on this year's tax sales. I don't know if that don't send you guys the message. So please, I hope you vote this down and stay within the mandated state caps that are imposed. And it's, that's a phony cap too, because it's not on the entire budget. I think right now, I've lost track of it, but about half the budget is out of caps anyway. So it's not that 2% cap on the entire budget. The other thing, you're now 2 months late introducing the budget. Read the paper every day. This town has approved the budget. This town has approved. This one's got 1.1 increase. This one's got no increase. This one's got a reduction. Belleville hasn't even introduced. It's supposed to be introduced in February. Every year we go into September, October, November. when are we gonna introduce a
Ben,
budget?
you could speak about that, but can you wait till public participation, please?
Okay, that'll give me time to come up with an answer.
Make a motion to close public hearing. and
Second.
its adoption.
Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
No,
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Make a motion to open up public participation.
Second.
Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
yes,
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Jeff Mattingly, 56 Walnut, Council. I think we've done a lot of good things, and we've safeguarded against some things that might have happened that would have been really bad, in my opinion. It's been a really rough 2 years. I think most people would agree that, judging what's happened in the last election cycle, and now with the Board of Ed, what's coming out and the finances there, that there's something missing, sorely missing here. And I know I'm a broken record on this subject, but to record the public meetings and air them on a town station, cable station, is, I think, critically important. And I have a lot of people that are very much supportive of me voicing this, and they know that I've been talking about this for many years. We want a partnership, we want an agreement with the council. We need to be responsible and transparent, and that information empowers citizens. And I have to wonder how many citizens really know what's transpired in Belleville in the past 2 years. How many are really tuned in, and where the information sources are. I know the Belleville Times does the best it can. It's a limited circulation, we all know it. The funds are derived from the fees from the cable subscribers. The $400,000+ we recently saw some months back, they come into the town coffers, and I know it's going into the general fund and being spent along with all the rest of the finances that come into the town. And there's never a good time to cut into any source of revenue, but quite frankly, that money is earmarked federally and by the state for public information dissemination. And you can elect out of it as you have, and you've taken the money and put it into the general fund. But quite frankly, that money needs to be applied for exactly what it was intended to, partially, not all of it. I think to be able to mount a couple of wall-mounted cameras, maybe there's other differences in things, in these chambers on a remote that's tied into the audio system, where people would come forward and speak into a microphone like they do in every other town around us for some 30 years or more. 30 years. Now, we want participation. We got higher participation. But you have to educate people, and you have to recognize that you're in a blue-collar town where people work unbelievable hours to make ends meet. They don't have time to come to meetings. That does not mean they're not interested, as is often referred to. That is a mistake to say. People aren't interested. They are interested. When they get their tax bills, they're very interested. When they hear of things that suddenly come up, sometimes after the fact, they're very interested. Belleville's known for being late to the party with information. So, having this information disseminated to the public at their leisure, in their living rooms and bedrooms, and their time schedule is critical. And I think that we could record all of these meetings very easily. Not necessarily at great expense, but it requires a partnership with you, where you would create a resolution that empowers a cable station manager or master, what have you, to be able to edit the information, but record these public meetings in their entirety, and then air them on the cable station and archive them on our website. Our new website is more than capable of it through a YouTube account. It doesn't have to take up our bandwidth, just to divert them right over, like is now happening with Lee Dory of the Nutley Watch. And these meeting proceedings have become invaluable. And for the degree of attendance, it's 10 times that after the fact, if not more. When something contentious happens, everybody tunes into these stations, and they recount, and they can research. And the website should be able to do that. It should be able to archive so that people can go back and look at the meetings and remember. And and hold people accountable, and I don't mean just you. I mean the public and professionals and the things that come before us. 50-story buildings? I mean, how many people really knew that their town almost became a city? And it really did come that close. All you needed was a 4-person majority and it would have been a done deal under redevelopment. And people need to know these things before they're totally outraged after the fact. So the council meetings and the real tragedy is that we don't have, like when they shut off the Board of Ed proceedings and stopped taping them and airing them, they lost all the great publicity that came to the school. The positive stuff just got completely swept under the carpet. Nobody saw it, nobody heard it, all they heard was what was bad going on, and they assumed that was it. You know, we just a party. How cool would that look on our website, on our cable station, with snippets of that and interviews and all the great people, the alumni that come back to Belleville. This is really a resource that we desperately need. I'm a contractor. We have a terrible reputation with contractors. We need to show them that we're open for business, to do good business. The council's doing good things. The management's doing great, in my opinion, considering how hard these times are for everybody. You need to show people that. You need to be able to see that. And so we ask that you partnership with us and create a resolution that affords us this invaluable resource that is ours, that we pay for, that is mandated. I think that we need that, and we'd like to see you embrace that, and run with it, champion it, and agree with it, especially in the environment that we've come out of.
Jeff, the only answer I could have for you is, I formed a committee several months ago in regards to the cable station. It was brought before the council, was voted down at that time, and then most recently, Councilman Longo brought something before the council that was brought down. So I guess I could form another committee to have them look into it to see what the price is, who's doing it, and we could go from there.
Could citizens be on the committee?
Huh?
Can citizens be on the committee?
No, I think I'm just going to appoint councilman.
Okay. Just one question. We did pay some time back, $60,000 for a feasibility study. Was anything ever reported back to the public as a result of that?
Is this the thing for the library or something?
Cable stations.
Jeff, I don't remember, I will be honest with you.
Through the chair, just a quick question, Kevin.
Yes.
I know you were examining some low-cost solutions, because that's, I think, possibly our biggest fear, is the cost to do this internally. So, I mean, I know you've looked at some stuff, but...
I'm waiting to get a formal proposal back. I am familiar with some other towns that retain private individuals who would come, set up their equipment, and videotape the meeting, and then upload the meeting to YouTube to a portal. The big problem becomes is the archiving when we do it internally. So, but YouTube is there, it's
A
available.
lot of towns use it as an account.
Exactly.
Then you're off
I mean, we're
your...
saving money, we're getting it done for nothing.
Yeah, I know, it's
This thing's
killing
gonna do
us.
it so much longer.
And we owe a great debt of gratitude, I think. And we'd like to see you take on that responsibility with our money. And so, and so that we don't have to spend our life's energy doing this. And I think, quite frankly, you guys have looked pretty great lately. You've done a good job. You pulled through for the public. You're doing okay. So it's, everybody, there's a learning curve to everything. But we're 30 years behind the curve.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well, oh, incidentally, I do believe that it takes some time to set up that initial link, and so maybe just a little
Yeah.
research
Yeah, that's fine.
with the Comcast.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Williams?
Hi, Catherine Moreau, 41 Palmer Avenue, Council, Mayor. John, I'd like to thank Councilman Terry for fighting for Palmer Avenue all these years. There's a lot of dirt, garbage, holes in front of my house, in front of 36, 38. The street cleaner comes down and he does a simulated run. I happened to come home one day and he's going down the middle of the street, not cleaning the south side of Palmer Avenue, where all the dirt is, where PSE&G did all their work. I have 12 pictures on my camera. There's holes maybe 2-3 inches wide and deep. It took them 4 weeks to find the gas leak. It took them 10 days to fix it. And then they left it. They did cold patches or whatever they do. I don't know the terminology. But you can't drive down the street without shaking my china closet because the ground is just caving in front of 37 also, which is my niece's house. And years ago, when they built the new 2 townhouses across from us on the north side, they had to put in new sewage or something because there were 4 bathrooms in each condo. We had just had the street done, and they had to dig it up, and that still has not been fixed the proper way. And I just need public service to come back and fix the street. You people spent a lot of money to fix that street, and it's an eyesore, and I have to live with
Councilman
it.
Natari brought it up to the town manager, and he's gonna get after public service.
I understand that, but they still didn't fix the flood behind the power lines, and it's 8 years that we've been trying to do that also. So they're kind of lax, PSE, and I wish somebody would get on them so that they can fix the street and fix the flooding also. Years ago, we had pictures, they were published in the Belleville Times, and still nothing has been done. But I would appreciate anything you've done, John. I appreciate everything you did for Carmel Avenue. And you were very instrumental in getting the street paved and fixed after 85 years. And now 10 years, less than 10 years down the road, it's an eyesore. And you can't live there because, in certain areas, because your house just rattles. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
I want to speak about Franklin Street and how the traffic is so bad that I made a suggestion to you years back about making Belmont Avenue a one-way going down to Newark Avenue. And there's 2 lights you wouldn't have on that street then. The traffic is back to 6th Street, to Franklin Avenue, and up past Wassesing Avenue. I mean, it's disgusting. And I don't know if you people travel that road, you just can't see it. Right?
Can I say something? Yeah, you came many times, and
Yeah.
we did bring it in front of the police department, and they said it did not warrant a one-way.
But there's
So,
no way coming up. What's
I
the
know,
difference?
I don't know what else to do.
Right.
You know, gentlemen, what do we do?
I mean, if you make it going down, just make 1 light come out, not 2.
Yeah.
Before Franklin Street moves, 2 lights have to wait. That's not right, and that's why the traffic backs up to Wassesing Avenue. And also, the bells on the
Well,
train.
it takes a long time for those
Kevin,
lights.
you did a wonderful job, but it's starting to get bad again between 12 and 5 o'clock at night. That I just realized that there's 2 trains stuck together, right, back to back. All right, they have a bell in the front that rings, and then the bell in the back rings. Like they're hitting you twice. Then when you get the Belmont Avenue ringing, you think another train's coming back that way.
Right.
I mean, it's terrible, right? You should know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, maybe we can get in touch with the county and
Thank
see if
you.
those lights
On the MDOT, right?
have to be coordinated again.
Okay.
Okay,
You
but
know
that-
what, Mayor, they
I
coordinate
know
them all
they
the
do.
time, and it just goes back the way it was.
But the other thing is DOT, isn't it?
Years ago, when they first started, they had the small bell, like
Yeah,
ding,
that's
ding.
DOT.
And that was nice, you know? And then it came out the horn, and that's when we started complaining.
Yeah.
And now they come with these dong bells, which, remember, 25 times they ring it going across.
The argument that we got from the railroad is.
I mean, they go back to that little bell. They don't need that big bell.
It's ADA compliant.
ADA compliant. Same thing with the buses
That's why
on.
we
And the same thing with the buses. I'm trying to
People
go.
who are hard of hearing can't hear.
Good for a balloon. You got a traffic light
When are we
there.
gonna introduce
The
the
train stops.
Kev, I know you have an answer for that.
I do. Mr. Frantantoni, to answer your question on the delay on our budget, we first have to wait for the county and state budget to be introduced and adopted. And as you know, those things most recently happened. We could not have introduced in February without knowing whether or not we were going to receive state aid or how much they were going to take from us. That's the problem. So with that being said, it's our goal to introduce our budget next month and adopt it in early June. We will not drag on to July or August or September, hopefully.
In all due respect, That is not true. We're not asking to pass a budget, we're asking to introduce a budget. Now, it's only an introduction, so that means you can amend them along the way. If the county gives you different things, if the state gives you, it's simple amendments before you actually pass the budget. We go through this every year, and I hear the same baloney story. I hate to, you know, I like you, Mr. Esposito.
I appreciate it.
But your statement is untrue.
Take one on a date.
December 15th, the 3 years I was in office, every one of my department heads got a letter, I'm sorry, before that I wanted their budget in my office for December 15th. The first of the year, Mr. Padula, the treasurer, got my budget. If things change, we simply amended it. So this is called an introductory budget. And you ought to know which is amended. You know, we go on for years, it's not only you, prior town manager, and prior council. This has been going on like crazy, and it's ridiculous. Especially when you all these other towns, they get state aid, they get county aid. So how come they can pass their budgets? You know?
They introduced, not necessarily
Well,
adopt.
and again, that's the point I want to make. Introduce, so we know where we're starting from. Prior to just about the contract got a bad reputation. When last year I'm getting a permit in Lyndhurst, in the summertime I got my shirt on, so like Belleville, I wouldn't work on town if you give me all the money in the world. The building inspector comes out and says, what's going on in your town? You got 3 times more personnel in your building department than we got, and we got all these big buildings in the Meadowlands and all that. But it's not only contractors. I work for 3 management companies, real estate management companies. They don't want to deal in Belleville. In fact, you just had a long-time real estate guy. His father started the business. I won't mention his name, but he was up on Washington there. He left town. I happened to call him at the beginning of the year to rent one of my apartments. He said, I don't rent in Belleville no more. He said, no, I can't get decent people to come to the town. He said, in fact, I left town. I said, I didn't know, really? Next day I passed it, sure enough, his place is a party place or something like that. This is a long-time real estate agent in Belleville. They're leaving Belleville. You guys got to start getting the message, you know, what's going on here. Now, Mr. Natari brought up the paving the streets. I'm glad he said that. Should we pave? This is what I've been saying for years. Stop paving until we do the infrastructure. Find out what public service is doing the gas lines and the repairs and our water lines. Then pave. Mr. Revelle brought up Essex Park. In the past 9 months, I've been on Marion Court, Riverdale, and Celia Terrace. Ever since Essex Park was built, those people's basements are just wet all the time. The sump pumps are going 24 hours a day, right? In fact, the town, you guys ought to know, because on Riverdale, you had to dig up 3 feet from the curb and you put up pipes. You had to put pipes in there to accommodate all the water being pumped out of these basements. So, you know, this goes to development. You want development, but these are the ramifications. The valley, the increased flooding in the valley is increased because that so-called, unquote, retention basin they built. I challenge any of you. A retention basin, you know, on the side close to the firehouse there, that's supposed to hold water.
I thought it was a detention.
Detention.
It's a detention.
There's 2.
It's a
It's a
detention. That's a
detention. Well, either one don't work. See, a detention detains it and then slowly lets it into the ground. A retention retains it. When they put that big concrete square box in, Gary Hinton and I were there, I said, that thing's too damn low. So what happens? All the water is going right past all that grass. It does not get detained or retained. Goes right into Franklin Avenue, right down to right into the valley. All our pipes lead to the Passaic River. All our storm sewers go to the Passaic River. And ever since that was built, the 30-some-odd acres was paved over, elevated, in violation of law. They got permission to violate get an exemption from the 25-foot front yard to 20 feet. So what did they do? They stopped building the houses, and then they moved the street over. So now the building's only 11 foot from the street. And nobody's watching the story. They're doing whatever they want. So please, look into those. Now, what is our, you just had a COA thing there. What is our COA obligation?
It's debatable.
That's what we're gonna
It's
find out.
debatable. It's debatable.
That's what we're trying to figure out right now.
Well, you said the one from 2008, you mentioned, started to mention that in there.
We received correspondence and it said 768 housing units, or 768 units, yeah.
Back out there, it was like 158, and we had gotten some, because repairs to older houses qualify.
Correct.
Senior citizen housing qualifies for it.
Well,
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
or also age restricted.
They take school one. The guy ain't doing nothing with it, right? You destroyed a good school, built some senior housing there. It's 1.6 acres, at 50 units an acre, you probably get 80 to 85 units of senior citizen housing there, which qualify for your goal. And this,
I didn't know what he was doing.
the last thing is that, well, I don't even want to get into too deep now, but be careful, and this goes back to the real estate management companies. One of them I worked for, a couple of weeks ago, I go in his office to get a job file on him, and he says, what in the hell is going on in Belleville? He said, what? He said, we can't interest people in Belleville. Every corner's an area needed development. How bad is the town? What do you got? The public sees things that, he said, what is there, pollution all over the town? I said, no, they just are catering to developers and all that. You're destroying our image. You know, every corner, this is an area you read about, with no justification. Now, I'm glad the planning board postponed the final vote on that, Cortland and all on there. I was with the Observer Reporter about 4 weeks ago. He had called me up to take a picture of the 50-story building property. But then I spent 3 hours with him, went all through the valley. He was shocked. He was shocked at how much industry and business is down there. Cortland Street, I won't bring it up now, but I took every business and all. Some of the corner building in Cortland, you know, the old 4-story factory, they just put no windows in. They threw every tenant out of there to build senior housing years ago. That developer flew apart. Within 4 months, every business was back in that building again. Woodpecker's Furniture bought the old Cypher Hardware building. See what he did? The whole second floor, all new windows. He's doing down there. The corner building, all new. They're renovating it. You get the tree by his Little Street. That tree service, it started a one-man operation a few years ago. You see how he's expanded? You see how many trucks and all he's got? Do you see right here the old twin towing parking lot on Academy and Valley? You see how many trucks they got? And what they're doing to the town? Dow Street and Belleville Avenue, every afternoon, that businessman has got a ton of business. All them dump trucks are dumping up. But Mr. Madden goes before the planning and zoning board and says, industry and business isn't coming back to Belleville. It's here.
You wanna finish up?
It's here. So please, stop these areas needing redevelopment. These people are doing their thing. And look at all the nice properties, that bakery over there. Look how nice they did it. The new building, the doctor's office going up here by the Elks Club and all that. Look what they're doing. And look at, study the architect.
Ben, will you please finish up?
Gable roofs that complement our town. Please.
Thank you.
Let's keep the budget down.
Vic?
Vic Mafucci, 61 Continental. The three, excuse me, the three communications, were they all fixed? I missed one, that's why.
Yes.
Okay. As far as the barbecue, does it have to be on the artificial turf?
It's not on
I mean, it says on the field.
It's concession stand.
They're by the concession stand,
Concession
they're just gonna
stand.
use
It's
it.
to the side. It's
Gonna
off
use
the
the
side.
field for
The grill
events.
would be the concession stand.
Yeah.
They're saying on the field.
That's where the
For the
events are
rest.
going.
That's where the events are
They're
gonna
doing
happen.
events
for
too,
them.
but the grill will be on the
The
concession.
cooking's gonna be on
Yeah, we're not
the.
letting.
All right.
Don't grill it on the
A little after 7 a.m. on Monday, I went out to get my paper and I noticed down the street that a tree was down. Excuse me, yeah. I went down, took a picture, that's on the south side of Continental looking east. Some kind of vehicle
Yeah.
broke the tree, one of the pear trees, about this far up, and the rest was laying across the sidewalk and driveway. I called the police, they got there roughly 7:30. They came out and looked at it. I showed them where the tire tracks were. On the second picture, that's looking from the other direction, the tire tracks go all the way up to the next tree. So it's from where the tree was, across a little bit of ground, a double wide driveway, and another several feet of ground is where the tracks stopped. The tree was blocking the sidewalk. Stayed there all day. This morning, it was still there. Lunchtime, the bucket truck from DPW happened to come down. They saw it. I went out and talked to them. They didn't know anything about it. They had the saw, so they cut it up. And so now it's just a pile of stuff there to be picked up. He didn't know anything about it. He just lucked out. I talked to Billy tonight. I'm sorry, Billy Gilbert. He wasn't aware of any notification either. So someone dropped the ball.
When did you report that to the police department? What day did you report that to the police?
Monday.
Monday evening?
No, morning.
Monday morning, okay.
2 officers came. The female was driving and I'll call him a young kid was along with her. I guess maybe he's a new rookie. He's very young. Anyway, they looked at it and left. I think they could have moved it off the sidewalk. If I was in better shape, I would have done it. Anyway, those are the pictures.
Through the chair, I just had a quick question for you.
Sure.
The corner there of Continental and Carpenter, is that house abandoned or something out there? Is that what we think?
Yes, I want to make it public, yes.
Okay, we gotta take a look at that house.
I told Billy to, I told you about it. You can have it. So I think at the very least, the police could have moved it off the sidewalk, but definitely they should have notified either you or the church. And if it wasn't for that truck just happening to come by, it probably still would have been there tonight. Thank you.
My name is Camille Tonelli, and I live at 84 Perry Street. Our problem is that Perry Street is a dead end, and we have 2 signs in the middle of Perry Street, dead end signs, that nobody sees. They're set back in such a way that in the wintertime you barely see them. In the summertime you don't see them at all because the leaves from the trees cover them. As a result, we have a lot of traffic on a dead end street that we should not have. The street is narrow, there are cars parked on both sides, and when people don't see those signs, they come down to the end, they turn around, and they hit other cars. I have pictures. My neighbor's cars are damaged. My neighbor on my left, my neighbor across the street, my husband's car, my house has been run into. This is a real problem. I've spoken to Officer Pignataro about this, about getting some kind of a sign that would light up. He says that's not possible because it would disturb neighbors. So what I've come up with is reflective strips. Now we could put these cost $1 a piece. We could put these on those signs. People would see them during the day and especially at night for a minimal cost. I would buy them myself if it would solve the problem. I have my neighbors here with me. They have the same, their cars have been damaged. Everybody's cars have been damaged.
I believe this. Can we talk to the police department? I mean, what could it cost to get reflectives?
I'm sorry that you didn't contact my office. I could have hopefully had,
I was directed to this office.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm wondering if a speed bump would work, too, because, you know, we have the rec center right there, so we have, I mean, this is kids. I mean, you think of a dead end, you're thinking nobody's gonna be down there. The amount of traffic is unbelievable, and I would say people use my driveway more than I do. I mean, it's, like I wanna start charging, you know, to back in.
I've replaced my garage door 3 times because people turn around my driveway and they smash into the door. So now I'm on my 4th.
So we gotta make the signs visible.
The signs are not visible.
Yeah, they gotta make them visible.
We will try to correct the problem.
Good.
we
Thank
might
you.
also be able to
Can
put
I
some,
check back
Is
here?
there anything in the street that says dead end?
Nothing.
Then we should do that too.
And because Geronimo is down there, we can't really sign even down there saying, like, proceed ahead.
No outlet.
No, you know, there is an outlet.
there's 2 outlets.
We have a president.
But you say no outlet.
Right.
I mean, they don't know what dead end is, so.
It just makes me so nervous because of the children. Like, there's
Okay,
so
not a
many
real
kids
outlet.
at the the rec house.
What's tripping on it?
They have them in rolls. I even wrote a picture of the one, $20 for a roll. The lifetime of these is 10 years. So you don't have to replace them for 10 years. You can buy a roll for $20, it'll last a century.
Where do you buy them all?
Home Depot.
Okay.
I think another good idea is to put a dead end on the street.
Yeah, put the dead end,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, no out.
Maybe they'll get it.
And they're
We'll make every
reflective
attempt to get it
strips of the street also.
Okay.
See, I live on Crescent Terrace,
Okay,
so you would make a left there.
yes.
It's a silver.
So you,
That's where the
dead end
sun
sign would be before Crescent Terrace.
There's just after.
Gotcha.
Everything goes through the chair, okay?
Even though there is.
I'm sorry, you're done now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Carmela Fleischman, 132 Franklin Street. With the Silver Lake Firehouse, you know, I know we've been chatting about this for many moons now. Okay, one of the stories was that it was asbestos, so we've got the report back that says now no asbestos, we can breathe, yay. So, since it's safe to go back in, now what's the next step? Why isn't it, what is the next, you know, is it the roof? What's the next thing?
Completely redone. Ever been in
Okay.
there?
Yeah, I live right next
I
door.
know you live next door to, have you been in there lately?
Yeah,
And you would want to work in that condition?
but again, does it, I'm asking, what needs to be done?
Yeah.
Does it have to be the roof? Does it have to be torn down brick by brick? What's going on?
It needs
I was
a
told-
complete interior.
Okay,
Okay, what?
okay, but what's gonna happen though?
We're have somebody drawing up the plans, and we're gonna go out for bids.
You
to
had
refurbish.
somebody drawing up the plans 4 meetings
Well, what
ago.
can I tell you? You know, people don't just come out of the woodwork and draw plans for you. Things take time. You gotta put resolutions in. I mean, you want us to run over there, put a new bathroom in, put a new kitchen in, put a new floor in, rip the second floor out, put a new beds upstairs? You want everything done?
Considering it's been
that takes-
closed, considering it's been closed for almost 3 years now, and we've been hearing about this problem, yeah, I'd like something done.
Something will be done.
It is getting done.
When? A date, a time, give me an answer.
January 4th, 1990. I don't know. I can't give you an exact date.
No.
We actually did it.
Okay, but again, why can't this council come up with an answer though?
We-
Because,
You have to go through a process to get there. You gotta
Right,
go to-
no, no.
Plans
I
get made,
understand
there's
this
money being
process.
allocated. It's gonna get done. Something's gonna get done.
before I collect Medicare?
Yeah,
Maybe, maybe not. You
I
don't
hope
know.
I can collect too.
I mean, I know I'm looking fabulous, but kids, come on, I'm getting old. Thank you.
Sir.
Hi, Frank Fleischman, 132 Franklin Street. I just wanted to echo what Mr. Mattingly and Mr. Frank Antoni had spoken about before. First of all, about the cable channel and broadcasting the meetings. Not everybody can get to these meetings. Up until recently, my wife and I couldn't make these meetings. So I think it's a good idea to have these meetings broadcast on a local channel, just so people can see what's going on. When I was a reporter in Bloomfield in the mid-1990s, I worked for rural newspapers at that time. One of the prides of Bloomfield was TV 35, which was their local channel. The chairperson of that, Bob Arms, was a dear friend of mine, and he won awards from all the stuff he did. Not only did they broadcast meetings, they did interviews with the mayor, they did interviews with local citizens of note, that sort of thing. It was really a great channel, and I mean, in that time, in the 1990s, Bloomfield was pretty politically tumultuous, and I would say that TV 35 was probably one of the things that everybody agreed upon was a source of pride in the town. Mr. Frantantoni is correct as well. We do have an image problem, and it's not entirely our fault. I mean, I tell people, I meet people all the time, they're like, where do you live? Belleville. And you'd think I said, East, South Central.
Devil's word.
Yeah, exactly, South Central Los Angeles. I'm like, oh my God, why do you live there? Why wouldn't I live there? It's a great town. So I think we do need, like the cable channel and other things, we do need to do positive things to improve our image. Mayor, I think you're doing a disservice by not having citizens on a committee, a proposed committee for the cable channel. There's a lot of untapped talent here in town, okay? And I think citizens will serve if they're given an opportunity to, if they're invited to. So I'd like you to, I'd like you to reconsider that as well. Thank you very much.
So in regards to the image of Belleville,
I'm sorry, sir?
in regards to the image of Belleville,
Yes.
you know, there's a lot of people I know that moved out of Belleville,
Mm-hmm.
that wish they were back in Belleville,
I know.
okay?
I hear you.
So it's,
I
the
know.
image is not bad in Belleville. People want to come back. It's just that they had other obligations to move, but if you talk to some of the people that move and they want to come back because they like Belleville.
Absolutely. Perception is reality, though.
Make a motion, close public
No,
hearing.
not yet, Gary.
Charles Maples Avenue. A friend of mine asked about the applications for the new senior building. Are the applications out?
No,
Or
they're
then
not.
I heard that there's a waiting list.
No, they're not. What they're doing is taking names in the manager's office. When the applications come out, we will notify those people that
the application.
put their names down, they'll get applications, and really, the developer is the one that makes the decision, correct?
That's correct.
The developer is the one that's gonna make the decision on who moves into these.
Now, how does the people of Belleville stand? Are we like at the
You're
bottom
gonna-
of the list?
No, you're not at the bottom, you're gonna apply like everybody else did, and if you qualify,
It's the income too that's gonna.
Yeah,
it's income and
name.
Okay, so she has to call the manager's office.
just to put their name on a list, and then we'll make sure that they get an application.
Okay, thank you.
Close the hearing of citizens.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Make a motion, move the consent agenda.
Second.
Any deletions?
Yeah, 1 and 5, 1 and 6.
Marie?
No.
John? Clerk call roll on the consent agenda.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Resolution number one.
I want to take off purchase order 15-00859.
You want to pass the rest? You want to pass the rest?
Yeah, pass everything else, but take that. That's your,
That's a towing, that's our towing contract, and that's those that charge on, for police vehicles or fire department vehicles,
regular town bill.
or any kind of vehicle, I should say. So we'll pass that and make sure that's taken off.
Yeah.
That goes to
Everything else be approved. You can motion it? I'll second.
clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Resolution number 7, I make a motion to table that.
You need six?
Table, yeah, 6.
Six.
6. Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. New business?
Yeah, I have a resolution appointing the law firm of McMahon, Scotland and Goldman LLC to provide legal services to the Township of Belleville to enter into a professional service contract with McMahon, Scotland and Goldman LLC for the project commonly known as the Northeast Development Project that has been designated as an area in need of redevelopment and revitalization. Block 1901, lots 9, 10, and 14, blocks 9103, lot 1, and block 10002, lot 1, including but not limited to the preparation of the appropriate notices, resolutions, ordinances, and agreements, and related services.
So, just a quick question, Tom. Does this cancel and supersede the prior one?
Yes, actually, I believe, Councilman, where the governing body left that at the last meeting was that the resolutions needed to be modified. I read the modifications that I proposed into the record, and this resolution incorporates them and would supersede that.
Okay. Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Before I vote, I just want to reiterate that I've been saying, to get a resolution last minute, again, it was very hard to read this in between the meeting. I will vote definite yes, but these late bloomers really have to stop.
This is a correction.
You know, to read it all is difficult. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else on your business?
I just want to say something. I knew Vinnie's father for like 40 years. And what the Belleville Times did to that man on the front page last week was disgraceful. You know, I don't read the paper, I don't care for the paper. But, you know, to put the obituary on the front was fine. Then to put their comments about a man that passed away, and I don't care what anybody thinks of the man. The man, maybe he did 1% bad, he did 99% good. There's stories people in this town don't even know about what that man has done for people. You know, and he ran a good business for all those years, and I just think it sucked that they did that to his father. That's all I gotta say.
I sympathize with Catherine Loretta in the back because we're having the same problem in my area. Public service does come in. If you ever see the 2 Belmont Avenues, Eugene Place, it's a disaster. The other thing is the street signs, that's what I forgot to bring up before, Kevin. The street signs in Soho, are they working on those?
Yes, they are.
Okay, that's it, thank you.
John?
Vinnie, Cousin Ellie, I also agree with Kevin Kennedy about your father. It was very wrong what the paper did. Your father did a lot of good for the community, and he especially, and you know this, he especially took care of my mother for years. Thank you.
Joe?
Yeah, the council's been more than supportive of me, and the whole town hall, and, you know, generally the entire community has. I just want to thank everyone, my family and I. Thank you.
Well, just really quick, you know, pray for Vinnie and his family as well as the family of Jay Torres. Thanks.
And in closing, I just agree with the Councilman Kennedy and John. I think it's a disgrace what people a couple times did. Talk about images, and they should be the ones that start the ball with positive image and not everything negative. Amendment close?
Make motion to close.
Second.
Aye, 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 aye.